Hey folks, Dave back here today in Studio B, and just going home from the rink. What else is new? um, and again, I just haven't had a chance to play anything. It's just been kind of work and computer stuff. And today I had a good day. I blew out a lot of stuff. I cleaned out my desk the whole bit, and then I ended up spending the entire day getting my personal and my business taxes ready for the tax man, which is usually a 2 day process. And today only took me about one because I had already done some the other day. So I'm all ready to play games and it's midnight. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to start anything at midnight. So I thought I'd come on and talk real quick. Couple things going on. Uh, one being, you know, I'm dying to try a new game. Okay, and I got some games coming up that we're going to be taking a look at. One of them would be the Glory Days football. We're supposed to have Anthony on, and we're going to talk to him about that. Also, I'm going to be getting Grant. Is it Grant Fines? I think it is from 49 Sports, and he's got a football game too that I need to unbox. He sent me the game. I need to unbox that and try that. So I want to try those two games, and so now I'm in a football mood, and so now I'm kicking around APPA football, and I know what you're saying. I think somebody adjust my camera here. There we go. I know what you're saying. And I talked about this last night. But what is it? What is it about us trying new games? I know that's kind of part of what we do, um, if you will. Uh, but I started watching. Obviously Tebow plays it, and I was watching the Apple Football Club on YouTube, and uh, Replay Gamer has Apple Football, so I was watching him, and then Appa 66er, the new guy there, he's been playing the crap out of that game, the basic game, and he makes it look fun. He makes it look easy, and that's what's got me intrigued about it. Is I want to play a fun and easy football game, and so now I'm thinking that before I go and do playing these new games, I should go pull out all my old games. I got the game winning drive, which I like, but I also have from Downey Games the fast action football. Now that's a play by play game that takes you a while to play. That was one of my first long play games was fast action football, and I really like it. I really do. It was kind of on the simple and the basic side, but it worked. It just kind of worked. Um, and then I also got the Solitaire Pro Football, which I need to get back to. And what was the other one that I had? There was one other football game that I had that was like a longer play game. Oh, it's probably over here. Was it Mean Gene? Might have been Mean Gene that I had that was all right. Gridiron Wars. Oh my gosh, that was a headache. That was a headache. Maybe it was Mean Gene. Mean Gene was okay. I did like was it Fast Action Football? Yeah, is that over here somewhere? Oh, no, I can't even. There it is. Fast Action Football. It's about halfway down over there on my thing over there, right up there. So I do like the fact, and second season too. Yeah, Robert brings up a good point. Second season, so I have that too. And I was watching today. When I was at the rink, in between periods and stuff when things were quiet. I was kind of watching people play Apple football, then people play second season on YouTube, and I was kind of going back and forth between the two. Uh, but I'm considering trying out, like I say, these two or three new football games, and it's like just thinking like, what is it? Why do I want to try new games? I feel like if I'm not playing a game, I'm missing something. Is that maybe that's it? As Mike stops by and Robert comes by, and he was the one that said second season. Yeah, you're exactly right. Second season is the one I was thinking about that I do have, and I have played it. I have enjoyed, and I do enjoy it. I really do. But what is it about trying new games? I kind of think it's almost like we feel like we're missing something. When I see people playing a game and they're having a blast with it, it's like, oh man, I wonder if I could play that, have a blast with it. Is just kind of my thinking with it. And and again, I get hundreds of games here that I could play, and I enjoy most of them. Not all, but I would say most of them I really enjoy. Some I love, some I like, and some I just meh, and I don't play too much. Um, but it's just like I see someone else doing a game, and it's just like I think I want to try that. There's still some hockey games that I don't have that I'd like to go try. Some are quicker play, and some are not. Some are really long play. There's still some baseball games I'd like to give a try because here's my thinking on that. As Ron jokes about me being the Golden Corral guy. I do. I like to sample different games, and I don't like to stay too long with one game because I like a variety. I just do. I like a variety of my games, and there's reasons I play APPA, and there's reason I play Hockey Bones, and there's enough variety that I like both of them. But I guess the thing is, and Robert says that he does the same. He likes to try new games. I guess here's the thing: is as I see a lot of people, and some guys is like strat only, or they're APPA only, or they're play only, you know, and I give people a lot of credit that can play one game because you get good at it. You don't even think about it. Me, because I play so many games, sometimes I got to sit down and like relearn the game. Just kind of what it is, because if you haven't played it in a while, you got to relearn it. So if you play that one game, you just get good at it, and and you're a whiz, and you can fly through these games and really enjoy it. However, there's some games that if I didn't try these games out, I wouldn't be playing them and having a blast. Like if I said, no, I'm not doing Hockey Bones, forget it. I've had a lot of fun with Hockey Bones. And if I just said, no, I'm happy with, Strat, then I never would have played APPA hockey. And if I was happy with Strat baseball, I never would have played APPA baseball. And if I was happy with, shootout hockey, then I never would have played, Stone Cold. So, I mean, the idea of playing different games gets us to try different games just to see how someone makes the game. I think that's part of the intrigue. It's almost like when you got a favorite song and you see a band that plays that song. I have my iMusic full of cover songs because I like to hear how other bands play the songs that I like. Maybe they do something a little bit different. Maybe they get a little bit heavy. Maybe they're a little bit lighter. Maybe they change something up just enough just to make it fun. And so I love hearing cover songs when bands play cover songs. When someone plays a Rush song, or a Iron Maiden or Ozzy or Black Sabbath. When some of my favorite bands and favorite songs, when someone else does them, I like that. And so I like to see what they do with it. So I guess that's probably the same with gaming. I like to see what people do with their games and how they make them work, and and what kind of fun can be had with them. And again, part of it is, let's face it, part of it is us conquering the game. And we've talked about that on the show a few times. Whereas when you learn a new game, you feel like that you've kind of, conquered the mountain, so to speak. Whereas yeah, when you play the same game over and over, okay, that's fine. But I mean, hey, there's this new game. Oh, I figured it out. I learned it. I figured out how to do this, and I investigated. I asked questions, and I got on Facebook and Delphi and YouTube, and I figured out how to play this game finally. And it's pretty darn cool that I learned this new game. And there's something about that too, especially the cards and dice kind of thing. Well, I guess computer games too, because sometimes the computer games are kind of messed up, so sometimes you got to go in there and figure out how to do that, like the strat games. The baseball, the hockey, the basketball, and the football, those four games, I have them all. And they're all so different. I guess they were designed by different people, and you can tell because none of them do anything the same. They're so different in how they do everything. It's just like, oh my gosh. So, and the football is the one I have the hardest one. I have a hard time with the football, just figuring out how to start a game. I have started games, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now I know how to do it, but I don't play it often enough to get good at it. Uh, and Tim says it's the ever elusive search for the perfect game. I think that's part of it. And we've talked about perfect games here on the channel and on the show. And Robert's making the spiders for History Maker Baseball. Is it all zeros? Is everybody a zero? I'm interested to see that. I am. Oh, I got my Bobby Orr APPA hockey mug here going on today. But Mo stops by. Hi, Mo. I tried different games to find the game that best mimics the sport, but it's hard to find it. Well, what I found is different games do different things. And like I say, there's things that APPA does that I really like, but there's things that Hockey Bones does that I really like. And there's things that Inside the Crease does that I really like, and none of them do it all the same. And that's why I like playing all three of those games, because they all do something a little bit different. And sometimes I'm in the mood for this, and sometimes I'm in the mood for that. Again, because there's no perfect game that's out there. And sometimes I want to play APPA because of some of the things APPA brings to the table, and then sometimes I want to go to Hockey Bones because of what Hockey Bones does, and then sometimes I throw on inside the crease on the PC because I really want to get deep with that and get into like block shots and loose pucks and all that, and they do that fantastic. Um, but right now I'm on the football kick and I'm watching all these people play APPA football. And of course, you get all the people that love it say, "Oh, it's so easy." Well, and then I watch some other streams. I'm like, "Oh, it doesn't look that easy," you know. But again, watching the people play the basic mode, that's all I think I'd be interested in at first. Although, then you see the master game and you get draws and screen passes. And when I play, uh, was it pro strategy football? I do a lot of draws and screen passes, and they usually work too. So I like to use that. Um, and Mo says that's why we play different games, because none do it all. That's probably the best. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. None. You're right. None do it all. No games does everything great. And you might love the game, and I'm not saying that you wouldn't love the game. Whatever your game is, okay, no matter who makes it, whatever your game is, um, you might love that game. It still doesn't do everything. There's still another game that's going to do something that this one doesn't do. And maybe that's the only thing it does that's better, but it still does something different. Sometimes you want that. Sometimes you want that little extra. You know what I mean? To go with your game, and that's why I play a bunch of different games, because sometimes it's like I really just want the simplicity of this, but sometimes I want to get deep and I want to play that, and sometimes it's like, well, this is really fun. This game does this really fun, and that's why I really kind of enjoy it. Uh, Playing the different games. But I'm just kind of, like I say, I've been, and I have all these games here, and I should be playing them, but I got a couple I got to learn. So the two games again, that the Glory Days football, I need to learn that, and I started to read on that, and boy, that's a pretty deep game. So I told Anthony, I said I'm going to need some help with that, so he's going to come on and we're going to play that, and we're going to learn that together. And then Grant is hopefully going to come on and show us his football game as well. That's one I haven't dug into yet. I still need to unbox and go over that, so I haven't had a chance. Again, still having a day off since February 4th. That's my last day off. And my next day off looks to be March 17th. So that's when the next full day off is. But I've got less of a schedule now. So instead of working 10 hours some days, I'm only working 4. So I mean the schedule's definitely lightened up. And I've been working on my APPA hockey rule book there, and there's been a few things I messed up, so I keep revising it and reposting that there. And PJ caught a couple today that were I don't know what I was thinking when I wrote it, but that's why people read it, so I can correct it and make it better. Um, and hopefully I did make it better. And then I'm working on the rare plays. Holy cow, that's taken a long time. I have a ton of rare plays. I need to go through them, lay them all out, see how many I have, pick the best ones, and then make the chart for it. But that's just been taking forever to try to get that from head to paper. It's just been taking a long time. Mo says I should film an Apple football game to show the different ways you can play it. Yeah. Well, again, I was watching some people play it, and it was way too difficult. Just too much going on for me. Just not what I want. And then I watched some other people play the basic version, like in the APPA 66er. I've been watching. He's been playing a quarter a day, or he does a video of a quarter of play, and it's like this, and it's moving along. And I've been talking to him on the YouTube there, and I says, "Boy, you make this look real easy." And he goes, "The basic game is great. The basic game is easy, and I think you get everything out of it that you need." And that's one of the things that we talked about. Basic gameplay and APPA basic, Strat basic. Are they good enough? I mean, maybe. If you want to get more, if you want to get deeper, then you get the master game for the football and the baseball and whatever. But um, I was just sitting here tonight, I guess, well, at the rink, and I'm on the APPA site and I'm poking around. I'm looking at the seasons and the cost of everything, and then it was really expensive. But I'm like, once some of these paycheck comes in from all these jobs I've been doing, I said I'd like to try out the APPA football. I really would. And there's not there's anything wrong with second season or solitaire pro or anything like that. I'm kind of hoping a couple of new games that we have on the channel here will be pretty fun to do as well. Um, but the thing is, with the app of football, I'm gonna see. Hopefully, I won't forget that thought. And as Mo says, when you go from with APPA, you can go from simple to more in depth. Yeah, that's the one thing that's kind of neat about that. Robert says, when hockey's over, what work do I have? Well, I still I run leagues all year round, so that's kind of my main job. Um, as well as the podcast. I do that weekly, and then the channel stuff here, so that's all there. So when I do the play by play, that's all extra, and that goes from late September to middle of March is where we are now. Over the summer, I'll have a couple of things they'll call me for, and I'll go do, over the summer. But for the most part, that tones down. I'm trying to learn how to do the camera. I asked the guy, I says, I know you don't have play by play over the summer, but do you need any cameramen? He's like, yeah. So I think I'm going to hook up with a guy and do some camera work this summer, like probably for like basketball games and soccer and stuff like that. But it'd be fun to run some camera. I haven't done that in a while, and until the hockey season starts up. But my hockey leagues run year round, and that keeps me quite busy. So that's why when I do all this extra stuff, I was putting in an extra 20 or 30 hours a week on top of my other job, and that's a lot. That just kills me. But I look toward the end of that tunnel. There's a tunnel here, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that light's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then this past weekend, boom, I came through the tunnel. I was like, oh man, I made it. Two and a half, 3 months of just like crazy work schedules. Working myself, and I got sick, and then the whole bit. But it's worth it. I enjoyed it. I got a lot of good compliments, and I'll be able to buy some games with some of this stuff here. So anyway, um, so that's what I do. The hockey season never ends to me. It just gets busier, if you will. The summer times can slow down, and that's why you see me doing a lot more things in the summer on here because I have more time. Because I know that once September hits, it's gone. And Robert says APPA cards are expensive. Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing about the APPA stuff. The baseball, the hockey. Although the hockey's not too bad. The hockey is still fairly affordable unless you get a new season, but the 70s and 80s and 60s are not that bad. The baseball, I really wanted to get 95 because I like the 95 season. I have it in season ticket, and that's going to be my season ticket project as 95. Um, but yeah, with all the extra players and stuff, it was going to be $120 for APPA cards. I'm like, yeah, I don't like the season that much. I just don't like the season that much, honestly. I would get it for payoff pitch, because they're a lot more affordable and they have everybody, so you wouldn't have to buy the extra cards. But I have it for season tickets, so that should be good enough. And I probably have it on the computer for Strat too, I think. Um, but anyway, so getting back to my thought process here on the Apple football, why I'm been watching a lot of videos and interested in that is I do I like the APPA system. I like rolling dice, looking at the card and going to the chart. I like that. And I thought I'd love that with the golf. And then I need to go back to the golf. That just didn't. I don't know what it was with the golf. Golf games are weird. Really, golf games are weird, especially the cards and dice golf games. And I was like, man, why is this not capture me? I thought it'd be fun to sit down and take two golfers and play 18 holes out and see how we did. And part of it was fun with the golf, whereas you roll the dice, okay, I'm gonna hit it to the left, and you hit it and you end up hitting it to the right. So your shot kind of curls back, but it ends up in the center. It's like, oh man, I played that beautiful. I thought it would be more fun than it was. And that's one of those sometimes, I talk about watching people play the game and then you get it, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so awesome." It's so much better playing the game than it is watching it. The APPA golf kinda wasn't that way. I got it on the table, and there was a lot going on with it. It was kind of complex, and trying to even the basic mode, trying to figure everything out. It was it was okay. So I need to go back and maybe give it more time because I was really excited to get that. I really was. I wanted a cards and dice golf game that I thought that would be the one because I like the APPA mechanics. I like rolling the dice, looking and then getting an idea from that dice roll how your shot's going to be, and then looking at the card and then going to the table and then seeing how well you did. That was the idea behind that. So I like the APPA engine, and that's why I was intrigued about the football game. Whereas if I could roll the dice on a run and you look to see what the defense is playing, I guess, and then you look at the chart and then you roll. I think you would roll on a run on the running back, I would imagine, and you get his number, and then you look at the chart to see what he did on the run. Passing, I don't know if you look at the quarterback or if you look at the receiver on passing. Like I say, I don't know how to play APPA football, but I like the mechanic. And when I saw the new fella there playing the football game, and he's just rolling the dice, and he's like, okay, there's a run up the middle for 6 yards. Second down and 4. I'm gonna do a short pass, and here's a short pass over to Christensen, and that's gonna be incomplete. And it just looked like it was a piece of cake. And I was like, oh, this looks like fun. And I do like the mechanic, of doing that. The only thing is you have to have a ton of cards on the table. But I thought about I could just put the lineman over here because you never use the lineman. So I could just have my offensive uh, skill positions for one team, and then for the other team, and then have like the defense right behind it. So then if I needed something, I could just pull it out like a poker hand or a canasta hand. Boy, am I dating myself with canasta, right? Or whist. And just kind of fan them out and see what I need to get there. Uh, and so that's kind of it just got me intrigued to play. Like I really want to try that. And like the replay gamer says, this is our hobby. This is what we do. And trying new games and playing new games and even collecting games is kind of what we do. Um, so that's kind of what I'm looking at there. And Robert says the golf game is tough. Yeah, I saw the golf caddy mo, um, and I heard it does make it better. I should probably learn how to do that. I saw, using it and someone else using it, and I didn't know if I could figure that out, but I suppose someone could walk me through that. Um, yeah. Well, that's one of the things. There's a lot of cards you don't use. You're exactly right, and that's one of the things that people talked about, and I talk about too. It's like not enough seasons. Seasons are expensive, and you don't use everybody. So there's a lot of wasted stuff there. But I do like, as Charles comes by, well, I do like the Apple way of doing things. I do like, again, when I'm sitting here at night, when I come home at night, like this is the time that I would play Apple baseball. As I come home from the rink, I'm kind of tired. It's around midnight, and it's like I want to play something, but I don't want to get into something so deep and heavy that I can't handle it right now. Being late and being at the end of the day and being tired from work, the app of baseball is perfect. I can just put it up and just it runs itself. It's so fun, and I was kind of hoping to find a football game that does that same thing, that I could just lay it out and play it and have some fun with it. And not that second season doesn't do that, but I've played second season enough to know that there is some thinking going on in that, and you are looking at thises and that's and symbols and what side of the field you're on. So there's some little intricacies with second season as well. So not saying it's I like the game and I play it, but late at night I wouldn't do it. But it'd be fun to, lay out, like I used to do with hockey bones, is lay out my hockey bones and play a period and just leave it here. And if I could do that with Apple football, play a quarter and just leave it there. Leave it either here or over, next to me in Studio A, and just kind of leave it on the table and play a quarter at a time and just have some fun with it. And there's some seasons I really like. They do have 78, which I probably would get 78. 79 would be ideal. Uh, but 78 would be my other one. They have 81 as well, so I could play the Freezer Bowl and the catch game. That would be kind of fun to play. And they have 76. Although I don't know, like I said, I don't know any of the individual Buccaneers on that team, but it would be fun to play the Buccaneers to see how bad they were. So I'm kicking around which season I would get. And let me see. And Mo says, You can definitely figure it out. Very intuitive, much simpler than it seems. I heard the basic is very simple, and I might be fine with the basic. In Apple Football, you can use all the cards if you choose to. That's why I say there are different ways to play. You can have every position count if you want. Well, I know that you add the defensive numbers up, and that gives you a number for your defense. And then I was looking at those cards, and I think you got to buy them. They're extra. I think they're $8. Tebow said you had to buy them separate from the game, and that gives you your defensive rating. So I think is that like the automatic defense? So if the offense is 20 and the defense is 21, the defense has a +1. So you use the +1 card, and I think you roll on that to get your defensive um figure out where you're going to read from on the defense. Is that what I'm understanding? That tells you what column to read, like A or B or C or something like that. I think that's so. If that's the case, I'd spend the $8 and get those cards so I could call my play. Roll the dice to see what the defense calls, and that would be very like solitaire pro football, as Charles says. Solitaire pro football is really good too. Yeah, no, well, any football game like this is going to be a long play. Solitaire pro football is really good, and I like it. In fact, that's why I'm saying I need to pull that out and second season out and play those again and kind of get involved with those again because those are really fun, and I do have a lot of seasons for them, as well as the fast action football. I get both of them, both all three of those, and they're all really really fun. And so I would need to get all those cards. Okay, so is that what they do, Mo? Those defensive cards that are like +2 or +10 or -5, is that you would roll off of that, and that would give you what defense is being called against runs and passes or something like that? I'm not sure uh, what those cards actually do, but it looked like that was the case. And if that's the case, then I could just call offenses like I do with all my PC football games and let the dice decide the defense. That would be fantastic. Robert says, I like to play more games, but my radiation makes you tired. Yeah, I understand that. Hopefully you could still you still try some new games from time to time. But again, if somebody plays one game and they play it and that's it, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, you save a lot of money. You do. And you know, I used to do that with video games. I would find one game and I would play it for months. And that's like, I don't need anything else. This is all I need. And then after a while, I'll be like, okay, I want to play something a little bit different. So I always like to see what else is going on. I guess that's just uh, my makeup. I like to see what else is going on. So someone's playing a game. Oh, I want to play that too. Because you never know how much fun you're going to have with it. It's just, I play this game. It's great. Let me try this one. Oh, this one's really good. Well, what about this one? Oh, that one's really good too. And so I found so many good games. And if I didn't try the games, I wouldn't know how good they were, or how bad they were, or whatever the word you would be. um, and Charles says, yeah, they don't sell sets for a minimalist game. You're on the hook for all of them, and that's paying for a bunch of cards that you never use if that's how you play. Yep, yep. And like Charles, you do need all the cards. Yeah. And well, again, that's the thing you have to decide. If you want to, this is the weird game. The football is the weird game because they card everyone. And, I kind of don't care for that. I'd rather not, because again, you're not going to use many of them. Um, but, like I said, I was watching replay game. I think I've watched his APPA football video 3 times now. He just talks about it for 20, 25 minutes. I've watched it 3 times because every time I watch it, I get interrupted. So I went back and I watched it again tonight. And he said one thing that made sense. He says, I bought this. I think he bought 81, and I was kicking around either 76, 78, or 81 myself. And he goes, it was expensive. I got the game and the cards and the whole bit. He goes, but I played it. I really like it, and I'm happy with my purchase. And I guess that's where it is. Are you happy with your purchase? If you're happy with your purchase, you're happy with your purchase. It doesn't matter if it's $1 or $1,000. If you're happy with it, you're happy with it, and that's all that matters. Because it's not you're not buying this to please somebody else. You're buying this to please yourself. Just like you go out to dinner. Sometimes you go out and you get an expensive meal. That'll happen sometimes. We're gonna get an expensive meal. Well, someone else can yell at you for getting an expensive meal, but if you enjoyed the meal and you're like, hey, once in a while I'm gonna do this, then great. And Oh, is it? Tim comes by. It's easy to take a chance on less expensive games. Yeah, no, it is. And that's the thing is that sometimes you find these games that seasons are cheaper and the game's cheaper. And yeah, more expensive doesn't always mean better. No, you're exactly right about that. And Tim says, play-by-play football games take so long to play. I'd really have to know. I'll love the game to put down the catch or something like APPA that won't get played more than a few times a year. And that's true. There's been some games I bought and some seasons I bought that I've only played a few times. My thing, what I like to do is, and that's why you see me bounce around a lot. Sometimes when I play games, is I'll go over there in the APPA pile or up over here to the hockey bones pile, and I'll look at a season I haven't played in a while, pull out two teams, and I'll play them. And then it's like, okay, I've at least I've touched the season. It's not sitting there collecting dust. At least I pulled it out and played a game. And I do that, with a bunch of my games. Is I try to go and pull out some awkward teams from a season and play them, and it's like, okay, so I can say that I've played this season in a couple of teams, and I not that it justifies anything, but I'm only justifying it to myself. But sometimes I'll do that. I will go and stop playing some one-off games here and there just to kind of get some time in on the game. And it's I do that and I had such a good time with it. And I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I bought this game and I bought this season because I'm having fun right now. I'm having fun right now. And I think that's kind of what it's all about. Um, Let me see. And Mo says, I use Glory Days football to play out the drive or to put you downfield, then I do play by play. Yeah, I need to learn that game. I need to I have it and I've been reading it and I got a little lost. So I think what I need to do is have the directions in front of me with a couple of teams and watch Anthony's videos and follow along. And we're going to get him on the show in a few weeks and we're going to go over that game in depth and he's going to walk us through it as well. So that's coming up. Solitaire Pro Football is very inexpensive. Yes, it is. And it's a very fun game. It's one of the first ones that I jumped on back in the day. I did like the fast action football, but the problem with fast action football from Downey, and this is not the fast drive football from Al Wilson, this is fast action football from Downey. Um, the thing about that game was it's all fast action card driven, and sometimes you got to flip a ton of cards. I think I calculated you got a 7 or 8 card flips for a punt. And so I actually created a cheat sheet that showed, what you need to do, how many cards you're flipping and what you're looking at for punts and kicks and stuff because there was so much going on. It's like, man, I'll never remember this. Like half the time I used to forget to check for penalties. So while I like the game and it's fairly simple to play, there's a lot of steps and you just have to remember all those steps. So that's why I was kind of looking for something a little bit simpler. I stumbled on the Solitaire Pro, and that was really kind of fun too. Um, and then I stumbled on second season. Second season seems to be more of like the charts are really done well with second season. Again, but sometimes they still get lost with some of the symbols. With Solitaire Pro, that's all numbers. It's like what's his average? What defense is called? Okay, so we're gonna subtract one from the average and flip the card and see what it's gonna be and things kind of pan out with that pretty well. Um, and yeah, so yeah, the glory days you can drive down the field and take over at any time. I think you can play. I think you can play by play for the whole thing. I think I could be very wrong, but I know that there's a couple different ways to do that. So the quick drive downfield kind of sets up the rest of the drive, and sometimes that fails and you still got to punt it. So it's kind of neat how that does. Charles wants to see this new game you're not talking about. Yeah, I just kind of mentioned them, by the way. The 49 football and the Glory Days football are the two we're going to have on the show here. I didn't want to say anything until I confirmed it, but both guys said that they would come on and talk about their games, and we'd probably play some of the games too. And we'll take a look at them here. Like I say, I haven't had a chance to look at the 49 football yet. That's still in the box. I need to unbox that and read the directions. Anthony did send over the directions. I was reading them. I followed along a little bit, but not enough to play the game. So there's just that's a busy, busy team card. There's a lot of places to look. So it's just a matter of figuring out how to do that. Um, and Mo says, you can use the cards. You can use the Fletch system. See, I'm not sure what the Fletch system is. Is that like Chevy Chase? Not sure. ID Jester was not happy with his purchase. No, he wasn't. Although, the other night, was it last night? I think I was on here talking. He come in, and I was talking about APPA football. He said that he would be willing to give it another look. Okay, he said at least he was fair about that, because we talk about second chances, and there's been a couple games he's gone back to, and it's actually worked out. And there's some that haven't, but at least if you give it another chance, and maybe you try to overlook some of the flaws, and maybe you try to see, you find the good. You find the good in Darth Vader, because there's some good in Darth Vader. There always was. Just, he just kills a lot of people on the way with his lightsaber. but there's some good in Darth Vader. Midlife comes by. How you doing, bud? Noble, what do you got, Noble? I have my core that I play for each sport. The game has to really intrigue me to make a switch. Yeah, well, I'm not saying you have to make a switch. I'm just saying that, playing different games, again, you never know. You might play this game and just be like, wow, I like how they do this. It's not going to replace my favorite game, but it does some really fun things enough for me to play it. And I kind of like in shootout hockey, which is probably my favorite hockey game. And I played that the longest. And I'm very familiar with it. I'm very comfortable with it. And, I've played so much of it. I got a couple little home brews and, this and that. And I've made that really fun. That's a fun game. A couple of tweaks that I made really makes that game shine. And then Stone Cold comes along and it's like, wow, this is really fun too. It's not going to take the place of shootout hockey, but it does some things that shootout doesn't, that makes it really fun. Now, this thing shootout does that Stone Cold does, and that's kind of where I am with APPA and Hockey Bones. One does this and this, and one does this and this. And so I can sit down and play a game of shootout and love it, and then I can turn around and play a game of Stone Cold Hockey and love that just for what it brings to the table. And I'm happy with both my purchases with that, as Replay Gamer will say. So it doesn't necessarily have to replace your games, but it just, trying something different. You never know. Again, if you don't try it, if you don't try the pineapple on the pizza, you might be missing something really good, and Albert comes by and says, Stratomatic football is outstanding. For Salty, I use a variation card that calls it the defense plays and formations depending on each situation. And it does take a long time for each game. Yeah, I think that's where we are. I think we've already, established that when you're playing a cards and dice play-by-play football game, that's probably going to be one of the longest time-wise games that we play on the tabletop. The hockey games, hour and a half, in 45 minutes, hour and a half. Baseball games, 20 minutes to 40 minutes usually. Basketball depends on the game with basketball, not including APPA basketball. But the football games, even the fast action football, that's play by play. The Mean Gene from Donnie is play by play. Second season Solitaire Pro, they just take a while. They're going to take you a half an hour, a quarter. It's going to be, a 2.5 hour game. It's just the nature of the beast. So you go in knowing that. That's the thing, is you go in knowing that's going to be the case. So you can't sit down and complain about a play-by-play football game on your tabletop taking over 2 hours, because that's how long it takes. You're doing a lot of plays, you're rolling dice, you're looking at everything here, and it just takes a long time to play. It's just what it is. Let me see here. Have I played Hockey Blast Express lately? I haven't played that in a little while, and just because I've been working and I haven't had a chance to play that. But I was having fun recreating the Hockey Blast cards. I spent like 2 weeks kind of redoing a bunch of seasons, and I love the new cards that I made. They're just so much better than the little stock cards that they had there. They just look so good. And so I need to get back and do a couple more seasons when I get the chance. But that was fun. learning how to use the graphics program, learning how to do that, and just kind of playing those games with the cards were really fun. I did like the Express, and what was really great about the Express is Hockey Blast Express got me back to the regular Hockey Blast, and I started playing that. And for whatever reason, this time around, Hockey Blast works for me, and I look forward to playing it. Every now and then, I pull it out and I'll pull out some teams and I'll play it, and it works. I just wish it played a little faster, because one of the things that I thought I liked about Hockey Blast was that it was a quicker game than like Strat and APPA. It's still taking me sometimes 45 minutes to an hour for a game of Hockey Blast, depending what happens in the game. There's some games you get a lot of lulls and it flies, and there's other games that, you're not getting lulls and you're playing every minute pretty much, and you're getting penalties and goals, and it's a busy, busy game. Um, but I do like it. I do enjoy the Hockey Blast again for what it brings to the table. It doesn't do some of the things that APPA and Hockey Blast do. I mean, Hockey Bones do. Sorry about that. Um, just like Shootout and Stone Cold don't do the same things. But there's reasons I will play Hockey Blast. I have fun with it. I like there's some things that I really, really like about it, that I will play the game and enjoy it. So, but I haven't played the Express in a while, getting back to the original question. And oh, Albert says, if ID doesn't like his app of football, I can take it off his hands if the discounted price is right. Yeah, I don't know if he sold it. I think he still has it. I don't think he get rid of it, because I think he might try it again. And then midlife, I so want to try new games, but between Strat and Action PC, I have so many seasons I'm yet to play. I feel gluttonous when buying a new game. I did it with Deep Drive Baseball. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, in a way, it's like I have plenty of games. I'll never play them all, and I'll never play all these seasons or all these players. And there's some that are going to sit here, and they'll, when I die, they'll still be there untouched. But I know that. And again, I keep going back to Replay Gamer. He's just got a good attitude about it. It's like, this is my hobby. This is what I do. He goes, this is what I spend my time on and my money on. He goes, and again, as long as I mean, if you're taking money away from the family, that's one thing. And the family's got to sell the house because you spent all your money on gaming. That's wrong. And just like anything else, if you spent all your money on cars or boats or fishing or golf, whatever your hobby is, if that comes before your food bill and your rent, then there's a problem there. But like I said, like Replay Gamer and even ID, he's got tons of games. ID's got tons of games. That's what he does in his spare time. That's his hobby. I know people that collect cars, and they all the time they talk about how they went to the auction or they went here and they bought a new car. It's like collecting cars. I mean, that's like thousands of dollars, and it's like, where do you put them? Do you have like this huge garage or this lot that you lay all these? But I know people that collect cars. And one of their cars would probably add up to all the stuff I have here, and they have more than one of them. So good for them. But that makes them happy, then good for them. It's what they do, and then the whole bit. Um, but so as far as feeling guilty, mm, Todd, no, I don't feel guilty if the stuff I don't play, because the enjoyment of like going online and picking your season and find out what you want to do with that season, ordering that season, waiting for it to arrive, unboxing it, putting it away, looking at the cards, that's all part of it. That's all part of what we do. It really is. Um, some people collect baseball cards. They just sit there. You can't even do anything with a baseball card. Just look at it. At least the stuff here we can put on the table and play with and have some fun with. Uh, so I don't feel too terrible about it. About gluttonous was the word that midlife crisis used. And sometimes they do. Sometimes I come downstairs and I look and I get some seasons over here and seasons over here. And it's like, darn it, I'm playing something tonight. And I go in and I look. Okay, I'm taking these two teams and I'm going to play. Damn it, I'm going to play. And then I feel good about it, and I have a blast with it. I'm like, I'm so happy I have this season in these two teams because I had so much fun. So that's what I would say about that. Um, And sometimes it takes longer than actual game, including commercials. Now I don't think it takes longer than an actual game. At least not the football. Sometimes, yeah, depending how quick you play. Sometimes I play pretty quick, and other times I kick back and I'm checking my phone. And I got YouTube on, and the dog will come downstairs, and I'm just distracted, and it takes me all day. But again, there's no time limit. We're not in a hurry. My coffee's all cold now. My Bobby Orr mug that I've probably shown you 100 times. Still use that. Still like that mug. My new favorite mug. Midlife says, during my product, all I could think about was products with Strat or Action PC that I had on the back burner. Yep. I try not to start new products. That's why I do the one-offs. And Ron keeps telling me, do the one-offs. Take your spare goalies, your one game goalies, and play them and have some fun with it. And that could be my little niche. Ron's the big project guy. He's got his baseball thing going. He's got a basketball thing. I think he's got a little hockey thing going. He does offline, and so he's got the longer projects and sticks with them. And me, I kind of bounce around from game to game and team and seasons, and I just like seeing the names out there, And I have probably about 20 projects going on myself. Some I've only played one game, some I played quite a bit. Some I'm getting close to finishing. And so but these football games coming in, I want to get them on the table, and I want to play some teams that I know, and I want to play some quarterbacks that I'm familiar with, and I just want to have some fun with these games. I really, really do. And I'm interested to see how they play, how difficult they are, what seasons are available, and the whole bit. But again, I keep looking at that APPA football because I do like football, and I know I have the long play games that I could, be playing here already. The second season, Solitaire Pro, and Fast Action Football, Mean Gene, and all those here. So I could be playing some long play games here on the table, but I do like the Apple way that they do it with the charts and stuff. And if it's a basic version of the football, I think that might be fun. Mr. Baseman comes by. Thanks for coming by there. I haven't played my bass in a while, in a long time actually. Mark Levine comes by. He loves Strat hockey. I started with Strat hockey. I did kind of like it. Um, I think that the thing for me is though, it's all the decisions kind of slow that game up for me. When you sit there, do I want to shoot? Do I want to pass? Do I want to penetrate? And then the other team. What do I want to do with the other team? There's sometimes I enjoy that. Like I'll play that on the PC, and I'll like it on the PC because the computer will handle the other team. I do kind of like the APPA and the hockey bones and inside the crease where I'm just kind of watching and I'm spectating or broadcasting, if you will, and this game kind of happened in front of me, and I don't have any control over it, and I kind of like that. In baseball, I kind of like the baseball where I can, bunt and steal and change the pitchers anytime I want, and pinch hit and pinch run. So in baseball, I do like making the decisions, whereas in hockey, I kind of don't. I do like just to kind of watch that play out. Now in Action PC, you got to make decisions. But cards and dice stuff, I found that I do enjoy the non-decision making games. Football, I'm kind of up in the air on. Sometimes I like to call my plays in football. Never on defense, though. I never like calling plays on defense. So sometimes I like to call my plays, and sometimes it is fun to roll the dice and just let the automated AI kind of call the game. It's That's just kind of me. And what else we got here? One of the reasons I didn't buy Strat 84 is I have the original cards. The game is still accurate enough. I already have a dependable old model. Why do I need a new one? Yep. I don't have it. I don't know if we're gonna get 84. Again, why we buy Strat is because they go out of stock, and I'm glad I picked up 1980 when I first started getting into the hobby, and I'm glad I did because they're out of stock with 80. That's my favorite season, 79, 80, 78, 79, 80. My three favorite seasons for football and baseball. Hockey, I like some of the older stuff. But those three I was really into baseball and a little bit of football at that time. And but 84, little out of my way, but I do like the Strat baseball enough that I'm really kicking around getting that season. I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet. So hopefully that'll be in stock for a little while longer while I think about it. Mark says his house looks like an old warehouse. It looks like a warehouse. Yeah, yeah. And Jeff's got over 100 Strat computer seasons. That's kind of cool. Um, and he likes a variety of errors. Yep, and it is cheaper than cars. You're exactly right. Marco, he says, "Love your intake." Hopefully that's a good thing. Um, and D Scott coming by, and all right, I gotta read this one here. I'll hand it to you, Dave. You turned me on to Shootout a couple years ago. I loved it, to say the least. Played the heck out of it for about 3 months, but just can't seem to get back into it. Well, it happens. It happens. There's games that I've seen people play, and I get into it, and I played the heck out of it, and then just kind of stop playing for one reason or another. Sometimes it's just you play a game, and then again we get distracted, and then we I want to play baseball now, and I'm going to pull out this game and play baseball, and then you forget all about the hockey thing, and then now I want to play some basketball or some football or some auto race, whatever it is. And that's the great thing is we can sit down here at any time and play any sport we want in any season we want with different games to play, and that's what we do. That's what we do, and I feel guilty about that. I mean, how many times if on Digital to Dice, if I says I need to get back to that game, if I had a nickel every time I say that, but again, it's true. Huh? I need to get back to that game because these games are just so fun. And when I finally do get back to that game, whatever that game is, and I play it, it's like, oh man, why haven't I played this in so long? But that's what it is. And so that's the fun of the hobby is when you finally do get it on the table. It's like, oh man, this is great. I missed this game. I missed you. That's kind of what it is. And Midlight says, your wife got you strat hockey back in '93 before you were married. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Um, I never knew about these games, and I've talked about that too. Um, SJG Jamie when he interviewed me for his I don't know if it's a magazine or newsletter that he had or a journal that he does, and he asked me about that. And my honest answer was I was really into video games when I was younger, late 70s, early 80s, the Atari and television, because that was all just coming out. And that was all new. And it was just like, oh, this is amazing. So I took to technology. My friends wanted to go out and build a fort in the woods, and I wanted to sit and play video games. I was just that technology I just found was amazing. And I even bought like a little Commodore computer so I could play some of the games that they had on the computer there. So that was always my thing. So if someone had sat down and said, "Hey, let's play some Strat or some APPA or some Status Pro or whatever the games were available back in the day," I don't know if I would have played them. Because we got away from board games and went into the video games, and that's kind of where it went. So my answer when I answered that question about why didn't I play it back in the day or whatever, it's like I don't even know if I would have. Knowing what I know now, obviously I would, and I'd load up on seasons and have them all, especially the ones that are out of stock. But quite honestly, I knowing myself and where I was back then, I don't know if I would have wanted to sit down and play on the table. I kind of like the stuff on the TV screen. I liked having a controller, and I liked the graphics and the visuals that I got out of that. So honestly, I don't know. Oh, yes. The Ultima series. I played Ultima 3 Exodus on the Commodore 64, and it took me 1 year. 1 year to play that game. That was Ultima 3 Exodus. And what was different about that is it's just mouse and keyboard, just moving with the arrows, and then you go into town and talk to people, and then you have the fights, and I had my whole party, and one guy's throwing fireballs and one guy's shooting arrows, and we're fighting the enemy. I played that game for 3 months, and we ran into something out in the wild, wyverns or something, and they killed us. And that was it. Game was over. I had to start over. There was no respawn. There was no saving. There was no going back to town. The game was over. And I was like, you kidding me? I just played 3 months and it's gone. And I had to start over. So I started over and we played it again. And, me and a friend were playing it. I played most of it, I think. He played once in a while. And there came a time where we got into a fight and we won, but we were pretty beat up. And then something else attacks us. And I said, we won't survive. And I had to shut off the game. And hopefully it didn't save. And I went back in, and luckily it hadn't saved yet, so I was able to go back and play it, and not die. But it took me a year to play that game, and so many times I would just shut off the Commodore 64 before it could save because I didn't want to lose my spot. Because again, I just played 3 months and it's all gone. So now I'm replaying those 3 months and I'm playing the game, and I mean, I remember the last battle was like you going into the castle, and every room you went in, you got attacked by the floor and the enemies. And I finally beat it, and the ending was so anticlimactic. It's like nothing happened. It was like, Exodus was a computer, and you put the cards in the computer, and it's like in a Dungeons and Dragons game, and it ended. It's like, well, that was weird. But I did play the entire Ultima, and I do have it. I do have it on the Nintendo, and I should pick it up again on Steam or something like that and play. But again, I don't know if I'd want to go back and play it all again. That was a long time playing it, and I started Quest for the Avatar Ultima 4, and then didn't really get too far with that. And then like by that time I was, had my license, and I was out of high school. We were running around, so I didn't really play that anymore. But anyway, that's the long video game discussion there. And she got you 92, 93 strat back when 93 when you were dating. Interesting. Played it a lot till you got the 92 strat football cards, and haven't played it since. Still can't part with it for some reason. Yeah, I get it. Tim comes by and says, this community has led to me trying several new games, even plays Soccer Blast, which I was surprised that I liked. Yeah, that's the boxing and soccer, a couple of games I have a hard time with. I like basketball, but I don't know enough about I don't even know the positions. I don't know who's where in basketball. At least hockey is like left wing, right wing. Basketball, it's like point guard and shooting guard, and I don't even know guard everywhere. I don't know. I don't know anything about basketball, and that's okay. I have not played APPA baseball for Windows. That's one I have not played. Charles says, I remember playing Heroes of Might and Magic 2 and 3 with his buddy. They connect on dial-up modem. Yeah, remember the dial-up modems? The AOL back in the day? Yeah. Fast forward to present day, getting board game implementation of those games. Yep, yep. Yeah, Beatles has a lot of that old stuff. The Ernie Hartwell. I would look into it if you could roll your own dice and things like that, but you can't. You just kind of watch it. It's really weird, that APPA for Windows. I've seen it played. It's like, boy, that's weird. The APPA Go is interesting. If it would just allow you to play a season and keep stats, I can't figure out how to do that. It's just so complex. It's like you can play a game, but to try to figure out how to save anything, it's like, and you can roll your own dice in that. It's great. And it shows you the cards. I do like the APPA Go, and I tried it a few times. I was going to sign up or get a season or whatever it is, but I can't figure out how to play a season. And I'd like to kind of make a project out of that, or a World Series or something. I never could figure it out. And so there needs to be a mix of the two. If you could combine APPA for Windows and APPA Go, you'd probably have a pretty darn good game. But anyway, I think I'm going to jump out here. It's getting late over here on the East Coast, and I got another busy day tomorrow. But yeah, I thought I'd come on and just talk about trying new games. It's just I really like trying games out. Everything from the free stuff all the way up to the expensive stuff. I like trying different things out because you never know what you're going to find. That's the thing. You might find this, $15 to $20 game that's like, it's awesome. And it's like, man, I just played this and I had so much fun with it. So there's games like that that are out there you can play. And then again, you get your standard games, and we all know what they are and the whole bit. And those could be really fun too. And it's always fun, again, to buy a new season and that comes in the mail or, PDF and you print it out and you sit there cutting and doing whatever. That's, again, it's kind of the whole thing of what we do here is, it's not just playing. It's the whole thing. It's the whole experience is what we do. And then we even talk about it. Like we come on here and we'll talk about it and the whole bit. But yeah, like I said, I've been really, really kind of itching to check out that APPA football at some point. So I'm kind of hoping, you know, I'll be able to look and pick a season out and, you know, play a little bit of that. And hopefully it's as good as it looks. I'm hoping it's as good as it looks. I really do. I hope it's not going to be something I get and then I regret my purchase. I'm kind of hoping I'm going to be, as Replay Gamer says, happy with my purchase. So anyway, all right, folks, thanks for tuning in tonight as I just kind of talked about trying some new games. And let me know, do you like trying new games? Do you like purposely not do it? Do you purposely try new games out just to see what it is? Because sometimes you watch somebody play it and you're not sure. You're like, that might be fun. It might not until you get it on the table, and then you don't know. And, again, you don't know until you get it on the table. And sometimes it's awesome, and sometimes it's like, not my thing. But that's why we play it, though. It's fun playing the different games and learning different games. It really, really is. So anyway, all right. So I'm Dave here in Studio B, and I'm gonna sign out here, and hopefully I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.